And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Welcome to Oklahoma Sportscene. We'll start with the AP Top 20, just released for week number 3, finishing up. The Oklahoma Sooners are on the move. At the top, not much change there. Ohio State, 55 first-place votes. Penn State, second with 5. LSU got 2 first-place votes. Miami and Florida got 3. Georgia finished at number 5. And then Oregon got 1 first-place vote with 6th place. Texas, number 8. Oklahoma moved up from 13 to 11. Then it's rounding out the top 25 with Notre Dame just hanging in there, and then USC at 25. By the way, Oklahoma has now 7 ranked opponents on their schedule left. Auburn, Texas, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, LSU, all ranked in the top 25. Now, before we recap this past Saturday of area college football, let's look ahead to week number 4. Friday night, Tulsa at Oklahoma State. Big game for both schools, 6:30 on ESPN. Saturday, Arkansas at Memphis, 11 a.m. kickoff on ESPN. And the big one, Saturday afternoon, 2:30 on ABC National. It's number 22 Auburn. And, of course, number 11 OU. Open SEC conference play. OU's 5-star quarterback recruit Jackson Arnold returns, leading the Auburn Tigers. It's also SEC Network doing their pregame show from Owen Field. But first, let's take a look now at our rundown for guests this week, including our Big 4 wrap-up with Bill Haisten, award-winning sports columnist of the Tulsa World. They'll also have a segment on Oklahoma State football future, including the future of head coach Mike Gundy. Chad Weiberg, the athletic director at Oklahoma State University, joins me for a very special interview, talking about his recent open heart surgery. Michael Knight of PrepRedzone.com looks back at the high school week just passed and then looks ahead to district play starting. And the Drillers are in the Texas League playoffs. They just barely made it. And Mike Melega, their president, general manager, will be here to talk about it with us. Right now, let's take a look at our hot topics of the week. United Soccer League play this past Saturday, September the 13th. FC Tulsa played the first of 3 straight road matches. They went to Mexico United, and thanks to an own goal, extra time, they came away with a hard-fought 1-0 victory for Tulsa, earning the maximum 3 points, keeping them firmly in command of the first-place spot in the Western Conference. Tulsa goalkeeper Johan Panoranda and his defenders were brilliant, recording their 6th shutout of the season. FC Tulsa continues the USL road trips with matches coming up this Saturday, September 20th, in Northern California at Oakland Roots FC. Then on the 27th, they're at Indy 11. FC Tulsa will start October with 2 straight home matches. October 4th against Lexington SC, and then October 11th, they'll host San Antonio at One Oak Field. Well, the former TU Golden Hurricane Tyler Smith, 2022 University of Tulsa graduate, and also the first-round draft pick of the Dallas Cowboys, 24th player overall taken. After 2 pro football seasons, he is now the highest-paid guard in the National Football League. He's a rich cowboy now. He just signed a contract, 4 years, $96 million, includes $81.2 million in guaranteed money and a $16.4 million bonus. It will be paid in full in 15 days after he signed the contract, and that makes him the highest-paid offensive lineman in NFL football history. Way to go, TU Golden Hurricane, former star Tyler Smith. Auto racing's greatest indoor racing event, Tulsa's Chili Bowl Nationals, is gearing up for its 40th renewal under the giant roof of the Sage Nat Center at Expo Square, releasing the dates, daily times, and general admission prices. The official event, January the 12th through the 17th of 2026. As always, the Sunday, January 11th grandstand seating during practice runs will be free to the public. Now, for more information on Chili Bowl Nationals number 40, go to their website at www.chilibowl.com. And to purchase the limited number of available tickets, here's a number to call, 918-838-3777. 918-838-3777. You better call quick. Those tickets sell out very quickly. Next, Tulsa World sports columnist Bill Haisten joins us. Talk about the Big 4 football and then the future of Oklahoma State football and head coach Mike Gundy. Straight ahead, right here on Oklahoma Sportscene. Hey, we're glad you're with us.
Our story. It lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
Thoroughbred season at Remington Park is underway with great winning action Thursday through Saturday at 6 p.m. Make plans now for Oklahoma Derby Day, Sunday, September 28th. The lone Sunday afternoon of the season begins at 3 p.m. with the richest race of the season, the Grade 3 $400,000 Oklahoma Derby, as the headliner. Visit RemingtonPark.com for all post times, group rates, and dining reservations. The best racing, simulcast racing, and nonstop jackpot casino action is at Remington Park.
Back on Oklahoma Sports Scene, joined now by Tulsa World award-winning columnist Bill Haisten to talk about the Big Four football weekend, starting with the Oklahoma Sooners in Philadelphia. That 42-3 win on the road against the unbeaten Temple Owls. Your impressions of the Sooners?
Well, all you can do is play the team in front of you, and it was an odd environment, NFL stadium, small crowd. They don't play very often on grass anymore either, right?
No.
That's a rarity now. So certainly to get 500 and something yards total for John Mateer to play well again. No hangover from the Michigan game. That was very impressive. But so going into the SEC, and you got Auburn coming in this week, and it just gets tougher after that.
Yeah.
I feel through 3 games. Well, first of all, I would give OU an A for this ball game mainly because there was no hangover from the big Michigan week, and because they handled their business in a really good way against a team that had been scoring some points against lesser opposition, certainly. But going into the SEC schedule, I feel really good about Oklahoma defensively. Really good. I mean, Temple ran the football the other day 27 times for 26 yards. That's hard to do against any level of a college football opponent. So I'm concerned still a little bit about OU's run game. I'm not sure what that's going to look like against SEC defenses, but I believe Oklahoma has a real SEC defense. And so I feel good about the Sooners going into the SEC with that. But to hold, what was Temple, 3 of 16 on third down.
Yeah.
Couldn't run 104 total yards. Really an outstanding, I would say even brilliant defensive performance for Oklahoma. And OU in a strange environment on the road had 3 penalties all day. That was really clean execution, great defense. Mateer clearly is a winning quarterback and a very important presence in that clubhouse and in that program. And so, and OU's best quarterback since Jalen Hurts. So here we go. I ended the SEC schedule, but I really like, for the most part, what I saw last week. I'm just curious to see how the Oklahoma run game, what that production looks like against SEC defenses.
That Sooner defense you mentioned has not allowed a point in the first or fourth quarters so far this season. And now, of course, Auburn, obviously a much different test, and return of a former 5-star can't-miss quarterback for the Sooners.
Well, it's so crazy. I mean, so everybody remembers the bowl game when Jackson Arnold came into play. They pulled him out of the bullpen to play after Dylan Gabriel decided not to play in that bowl game. And Jackson Arnold struggled that night, and you think, well, he was a true freshman at the time, and it was just a tough first start for him. And then I remember watching him in the spring game in Norman and thinking, man, I would expect more efficiency from him now, having been in the program a year. And and then it just didn't go that well for him at Oklahoma. And so now he's at Auburn, clearly more comfortable, clearly in a system that fits his skill set better, and playing at Norman. Great storyline. And really, to me, it kind of doubles the pressure on Brent Venables to win this first game in the conference.
Moving on to the Tulsa Navy game this past Saturday night at TU. Golden Hurricane got off to a great start, Bill. Jumped out to a 14-0 lead, but Navy was just too much. 42-23, and midshipmen still undefeated.
You can't start better than to have Navy, very typically a beautifully coached team that rarely gives up the football. And Navy commits 3 very early turnovers. And Tulsa, you'd like to have seen them capitalize with 3 touchdowns, but they did get 2 early touchdowns, 14-0 lead. And then there was, remember that, Chris, that sequence there before the half, Tulsa runs in a touchdown, gets it called back on a hold. And then Navy gets, drives the field and scores right before the half. And to me, the game really turned in that sequence. And then in the second half, Tulsa didn't even have 150 total yards. And Navy was very typical Navy in the second half. Navy's maybe the best team in the American Conference, and they were really good the other night. But Tulsa, for a quarter and a half was really, really good, and showed that maybe they're on the brink of putting 4 quarters together. They haven't done it. They didn't do it at New Mexico State, and they certainly didn't do it against Navy. I mean, if you need a letter grade on Tulsa, I'd give them a D for having squandered a 2-touchdown lead at home with a chance to get a signature victory, and to just after that, from that point, just got dominated.
So Tulsa now 1-2 under the new first-year head coach, Trey Lamb. Your impressions of the coach and your thoughts about the game Friday at Oklahoma State?
I'm going to be really surprised if we look back 3 years from now and the Trey Lamb experience has been a disappointment. I'll be surprised. I think he's a brilliant young coach. And Tulsa now, for the first time, really has a little bit of a plan and a program with regard to revenue for athletes. And I think he'll have the pieces he'll need to contend in the American. I don't know about it being this year, but I do think the combination of Justin Moore, who's a rising star athletic director, and Trey Lamb, who I believe is a rising star coach at 35, or did he just turn 36 a few days ago? Anyway, he's a young coach, right? I think Trey Lamb is a really, and as you know, being around him, I mean, got personality all day long, and great quote. And I could see where young guys, and furthermore, Trey Lamb looks only a little bit older than the guys he's coaching. And I just think he's a guy who's going to be able to recruit really well to Tulsa. And we'll see how it looks overall. But right now they're trending in a good direction, even at 1-2 going to Stillwater this week.
And a quick thought on Arkansas opening SEC play, their first loss of the season, falling to Ole Miss. So 41-35, quite a battle there.
Well, Saturday was an amazing, there was several amazing ball games. The Notre Dame game was fantastic. And holy cow, Tennessee, Georgia was a classic. But Arkansas, Ole Miss was a great football game. And I tell you, in some regards, it was just about the best that I've seen in a road game environment in the SEC from a Sam Pittman team. And they did everything right except win. And they fumbled the football. They drove inside the 30, inside the Ole Miss 30 with less than 2 minutes left, Chris. Down 6, chance to score, kick, go ahead, and lose a fumble. A great play by the Ole Miss defense to strip that football away from the receiver after the catch. But I felt bad for Sam Pittman. Arkansas quarterback Taylon Green, who we got to look at last year at Stillwater, really, I think he's 6'6", big NFL-sized quarterback. Became the first Razorback ever to have 300 passing yards and 100 rushing yards in a game. And he looked really good, better than he's ever looked. And so I hope, I mean, I would give Arkansas a letter grade of B only because they didn't get the ultimate outcome, but I hope it bodes well for the rest of the season for Arkansas, because now they got to go to Memphis. That's a tough ball game. And then they host Notre Dame. That's a tough ball game. And then they get into, the SEC schedule. So tough schedule for Sam Pittman. A lot of people believe this is kind of a make or break season for him. And what does that mean? Does he have to win 8 times or 6 times, or, but must have been a terrible, heartbreaking outcome for the Arkansas people to come that close against a ranked Ole Miss team and not get it done.
Real quick, recap those letter grades for us. OU.
I'd give OU an A. I mean, no hangover. Defense was great. Tulsa, I give them a D for squandering some beautiful opportunities early in that game. And then Arkansas, I would give them a B. But they're about 2 plays away from getting an A+.
All right, thank you. Stay with us right after the break. Come right back with Bill Haisten, get deeply into the Oklahoma State football situation right now. In the future for Mike Gundy. That's right after this timeout.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family-owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories in our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on-site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
The Tulsa Whalers are fresh off another playoff season. Don't let the ice cool down. Get your season tickets now for next year and save big. Season tickets start as low as $19 per month. Get your tickets at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets are available now starting at only $19 per month. TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey.
Back on Oklahoma Sports with Bill Haisten. He's covered Oklahoma State football for over 2 decades now. So, Bill, what is the state? What's going on in Stillwater? And what's the future of Mike Gundy?
Well, so looking back at December, of course, last year was just a calamity at Oklahoma State with the 0-9 record in the conference, and Mike making some unfortunate comments about fans in November. And then there was the weekend, December 6th and 7th, during which the regents met to discuss Mike's employment status. Mike takes a pay cut. Mike accepts the terms of a revised contract. And I thought, with it being so publicly known that the Board of Regents and Mike Gundy were at odds, how's that going to look in 2025? And how do you market a football program when you know that the leadership people are unhappy with each other? And what's it going to look like with an entirely new staff and 62 new football players? And then you have a uninspiring opener against Tennessee Martin, and then you have the disaster at Oregon last week, 69-3 loss to Oregon. Oklahoma State was not competitive in the least, and it was a horrific performance. And on top of all of that, Chad Weiberg took a plane load of donors and took the Board of Regents and the university president on a chartered jet out to Oregon for that ball game. And that's what they witnessed, was a 66-point setback for Mike Gundy's football team. So you're asking, can Oklahoma State, Oklahoma State had a rough start in 2023, and then had a Friday game, just like they do this week, a home game. I thought there would be 15,000 empty seats for that game. It was jam-packed, and they beat K-State, and they won, I think, 7 in a row after that. They got hot, or maybe 6 in a row, and won Bedlam, and ended up with a 10-win season. Remember, that was the Ollie Gordon season. Okay, well, I don't know if this OSU team has the wherewithal or the roster or certainly the quarterback play to recover. I'll be so interested, Chris, this Friday at Boone Pickens Stadium to see the attendance and to see the tailgate and feel the tailgate vibe in the pregame. And if the tailgate participation is down 25%, and if there are 15,000 empty seats, that's going to be a grim Friday night for Oklahoma State, regardless of the outcome of the game. I mean, but if Oklahoma State were to stumble and lose this Friday night to Tulsa, I don't see any scenario in which the university would move against Mike Gundy in season. I don't see that. Furthermore, I think that would be dirty personally, to fire a guy with a 35-year relationship with the university. This is 35th year of Cowboy football. And so I don't see that kind of scenario, but I do think that, I still stand by my prediction. I've written on this, I think 3 different times specifically on this topic since January, that I do believe this is Mike Gundy's final season in Oklahoma State. Even if they rally, Chris, and have a pretty good year, go to a bowl, I just think Mike is going to be at 58. I think he's going to be ready for something different. And will it be a really contentious, rough, will it be a divorce, or will it just be a parting of the ways at the end? Will it be a rough, ugly divorce? I hope not, because I would like to see Mike's name up on the Ring of Honor. I think OSU should play their home games on Mike Gundy Field at Boone Pickens Stadium. He's the most important, successful figure in the history of that school, football figure in the history of that school. And I hope when it does come to an end that it doesn't end badly. And it's already kind of trending toward ending badly in that, he won 10 games 8 times. At least 10 games 8 times, and they won a lot of games over the years, and completely changed that school, turned it into a football school. So I just hope when the time comes, I hope Mike decides to retire, get into the TV business, and that it's not a really ugly, hateful situation when that goes down. But I do believe it'll go down in at the end of the season. I think Mike will decide to retire, negotiate some sort of you would think maybe a fair settlement on the exit money, because there's a 35-year relationship, and at the same time I've had people tell me, are you crazy? He would try to get every dime of that buyout. And I guess maybe I am naive, and maybe that's what most people would do, and maybe that's the right thing to do, is to get every dime that's owed you on the contract. But it's just if you had told me, furthermore, Chris, the last 3, well, let's just draw the line at 36 games. The last 36 games of Cowboy football, they are 16-20. So and they are well below 500 in conference play. And so it just feels like maybe it has run its course. But I think Mike, by season's end, is going to be ready to not have to deal with revenue and the portal and what college football has become. And I think he'll be ready to go and get started with several years of working for ESPN.
Bill, I know you've been covering this other story too. Chad Weiberg, the athletic director, still has not signed a contract renewal. What's the latest on that, quickly?
Well, he didn't sign it because it's not in front of him. They haven't done it. They haven't presented to him a new contract. And Chad's original 4-year contract, after he succeeded Mike Holder, Chris, it expired on June 30. So we're 2.5 months into Chad working without a contract.
Yeah.
And I went to the Regents meeting on Friday. Last week I did a lot of writing on kind of the fallout of the Oregon game, right? And what donors are saying and what sources over there have to say about it. So I went to the Regents meeting on Friday in Langston, and I was hoping to get a minute with the president, Jim Hess, but he had to scoot back to Stillwater for some appointments. So I talked with the senior VP, one of the senior VPs over there, Kyle Ray, and just asked him straight out, what's the status of the contract situation with Chad? And then asked, can you unequivocally state that Chad will get a new contract? And Kyle Ray is a straight shooter, and I do appreciate that. He didn't dance around it. He said, no, I cannot say that. So I wish I could sit here and tell you, Chris, that I know what's coming with regard to that, but I don't know. I don't know. And I just know that Casey Schrum is out of that president's office now, a very popular, very, very popular Oklahoma State president. She's gone. There just seems to be division within the highest levels of leadership at that school. And, so if by Christmas there is a new athletic director and a new head football coach, along with a new president, it will not surprise me. But I would say this, I don't know how you hire a new football coach without an athletic director. So I think that we'll see some movement in that regard. If he's destined to get a new contract, then OSU needs to quit dragging their damn feet and get it done. Well, really, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
If they're good, if they're happy with Chad, and I don't know really why they wouldn't be, but if they're not happy with him, then what are you waiting on? Because there's a lot of heavy stuff that's going to have to be addressed here in the next 100 days.
Bill Haisten, Tulsa Royal Sports College. Bill, thanks for joining us. I know straight ahead we have Chad Weiberg, OSU Athletic Director, talking mostly about his recent bout with the open heart surgery. That's next on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Stay right there.
The Tulsa Whalers are fresh off another playoff season. Don't let the ice cool down. Get your season tickets now for next year and save big. Season tickets start as low as $19 per month. Get your tickets at TulsaWhalers.com. That's TulsaWhalers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets are available now starting at only $19 per month. TulsaWhalers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Whalers hockey.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories at our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
We're happy to have with us the athletic director of Oklahoma State University, Chad Weiberg. And I tell you, I can't tell you how great you look, Chad. Boy, you gave us a heck of a scare there back in August with open heart surgery. My gosh, it's just a shocker. That must have shocked you as well.
It was. It was. I keep saying that it was certainly nothing I had on my bingo card for this summer or ever, for that matter. But yet here I was all of a sudden talking about about open heart surgery. It did come as quite the shock.
Well, I mean, just 53 years old, tall, thin, and apparently tested for 0% out of for heart blockages. So what symptoms did you have? How was this finally detected?
Yeah, I had 0 symptoms, Chris. So this was all just part of my physical, and I'll kind of tell the whole story here because I think it's good and I've tried to relay this to a lot of my friends and people who have reached out to me.
Sure.
I put it in the category, my Primary care physician's great. I go to him every year for my annual physical. And when I turned 50, as you pointed out, which was about 3 years ago, he started talking to me about all these 50-year things that I needed to do. And I knew some of those were coming, like the colonoscopy and,
Right.
things like that. And so I kind of got on those, once he recommended those to me. But at that time, as I recall, he started talking to me about also doing a vascular screening and a calcium score.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I just had put those things off, and partly because I don't have any cholesterol issues. I don't have high blood pressure. I'm fortunate with all of that. So I think, was thinking, well, why do I need to do these other screenings when that doesn't seem, I don't have any symptoms. But every year at my annual physical, he would bring those up and he would say, it's really super easy to do. It's very cheap. Here's the number, just call them, get it set up. You'll be in and out of there in no time, but then we'll establish a baseline. He's really big on kind of having baseline so that if things start to move, you know it. And so finally at 53, he brought that up in my physical again. And for whatever reason, I went ahead and got those scheduled this year. And just like he said, I was in and out. My scores ended up being really good. I didn't have any blockage and all of those things. And so I left there thinking, okay, everything's great. And it was about a week later that we got a notice, he and I both did, from the hospital saying that because the calcium score is a CT scan, is essentially what it is. And the radiologist had reviewed the images of the CT scan. And although my calcium score was exactly what they said it was, they discovered in that an aneurysm in my aorta, ascending aorta,
Yeah.
and recommended that I go through additional testing to, confirm that, see what size it was, and all of those. And so, long story short, about 5 tests later, I'm meeting with the surgeon, and we are talking about open heart surgery. And what it ended up being is they replaced my aortic valve, the aorta root, and the part of the aorta that was having the aneurysm. So it's called a Bentall procedure, I learned. And so now I've got man-made parts in those areas, and but it fixed it, and now just in the recovery process, which is also, I think, going well, and hopefully just be able to move on. So I feel very, obviously, just so fortunate that A, it was caught, and B, it was something that they could do about it. So they're blessed.
Well, Chad, I tell you, I've gone through this with my wife Becky 2 years ago. In fact, 2 years ago this month, they discovered she had severe aortic stenosis,
Yeah.
had a mild stroke. They did all the tests, then did all this, and again, like yours, open heart surgery, replaced her aortic valve. She has a cow on her or something, though, very OSU.
Yeah.
But she is doing great right now and stuff, but it's scary to death. Chad, they said if they had not discovered that, she could have been dead in 2 years. So it's something to take very seriously.
Absolutely. Yep, that's exactly right. And that was, part of the conversation, because I didn't have any symptoms. And so it was
No.
hard for me to wrap my mind around that I was getting ready to go through this major surgery when I felt completely fine. But they drove it home when they said, look, if this ruptures in my operating room, I've
Yeah.
got a 50% chance of saving you. So
Oh,
anywhere
wow.
else, it drops significantly from there. So that's just something, you don't mess around with at that point. And so got it done. And again, was very fortunate that they found it. Blessed that they found it.
August 2nd, open heart surgery performed at the Oklahoma Heart Hospital in Oklahoma City.
Yep.
6-hour operation, open heart surgery performed by a Sooner, Dr. John Randolph. I think you had some fun with him in the operating room before he went under the knife.
Yeah, great guy. Obviously hadn't met him before, but one of the first questions I asked him is, "How many of these have you done?" Yeah, and he's done, I think, hundreds and hundreds of them.
Wow.
So felt really good about that. But yes, obviously knew that he was a former Sooner football player at that, on some really good
Yeah.
teams with Coach Switzer, and so yeah, we had some fun with it. right before he came in to check on me, right, in pre-op, right before they took me into the operating room, and I brought a white OSU hat with a little bit of orange on it, and I said, "Look, this has to go really good, so I don't want to throw you off in any way." But it would make me feel just a little better if there was just a little bit of orange in the room. And he took it and smiled big and actually put it on. And his nurses were like, "Oh my gosh, we got to get a picture of that." So no, he was a great sport about it, and obviously just a terrific surgeon and his whole team. It was really impressive just how his whole team does things. It's a really, really impressive organization, really impressive team, and he was great.
I understand it was confirmed, not that we didn't doubt it for a second, that you also told everybody that you found out for sure you do bleed orange.
Yep, that's exactly right. Not pretty extensive way to prove that, but yes, absolutely.
And Dr. Randolph, you mentioned, was a member of the 1974 and 75 coach such a national championship Oklahoma football team. So you're in good hands there. They did a great job. What's the prognosis now? What's the recovery? What are they telling you to do and not to do, Chad?
Yep. So I'm actually, I think Saturday was 5 weeks, so I'm getting pretty far along in the recovery. And at this point, they've pretty much, told me that they want me to, start kind of resuming as much normal activity. They don't want me lifting heavy amounts still, anything like that. But certainly walking, doing some things like that. I will start cardio rehab, do a little bit of that. I think here in a couple of weeks. I think the main thing with that is just to kind of calibrate, sort of re-entering some of those things, help me know when and how much I can do. Um, but yeah, feeling much more closer to normal. Still the main thing right now is just building up some stamina. When I'm going, I feel fine, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty wiped, and I still I take a flight of stairs. I'm a little bit winded, much more than normal, but that's getting better every day too. I mean, I just see every day things are getting better, so it's getting there.
I tell you, Chad, something like what you went through, my wife Becky went through, kind of puts things in perspective, which is really important in our lives.
Well, it does, and I just reiterated to everyone to stay on top of your physicals, and if doctors are asking you to get something checked out, get it checked out. There's a reason for it. Nowadays, they can fix a lot of things, but they have to know about it first, and so there's a lot of things you can do to help them know about it. So, encourage everybody to stay on top of that.
Well, Chad, great to talk to you. Great to hear the good news, and just wish you all the best. I know we'll get this turned around and go Pokes.
Well, thank you, Chris, and same to Becky.
Right back with more Oklahoma sports scene after this timeout. No more medical stuff. Back to sports after this.
The Tulsa Whalers are fresh off another playoff season. Don't let the ice cool down. Get your season tickets now for next year and save big. Season tickets start as low as $19 per month. Get your tickets at TulsaWhalers.com. That's TulsaWhalers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets are available now starting at only $19 per month. TulsaWhalers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Whalers hockey.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories at our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
And joined now by Michael Knight, PrepRedzone.com, to wrap up the high school football play this past week. Michael, I guess the big headliner was, as always, the Backyard Bowl, the big rivalry between Jenks and Union, two teams that dominated state championships over the last couple of decades.
Yeah, we talked about it last week on the show, how this year's Backyard Bowl probably had a little bit less of luster than years past. It was a coincidence that it was the 25th anniversary of arguably the greatest high school football game in state history, that Jinx Union game that ended with the Kewan Jones play
Yeah.
in front of, 30, 40,000 people at TU. And 25th anniversary of it, and Jinx won again this year as Kewan Jones' son, KD Jones, passes Kewan on the all-time Jinx rushing list. So some poetic things happening there. But Jinx, look, the final score I think was 48-30 or something along those
41, yeah,
lines.
yeah.
It wasn't that close. It wasn't that close. Jinx was up, I think, 48-9 at some point in the fourth quarter. Union was able to get some touchdowns there after Jinx took the foot off the gas. But you never know what happens in this rivalry. Union obviously trying to figure out what their identity is this year, struggling to an 0-3 start. But on the other hand, tip your cap to Jinx. They're off to a great start, beating Edmond Santa Fe and Owasso on the road, and then a huge home win over Union. And now they get this week off before they prepare for next week, which is a huge district opener against the Bixby Spartans.
That game will be at Jinx too, I believe, right?
Yes, I believe so, yeah.
All right, let's take a couple of the games caught my eye to Broken Arrow at Mustang and then Owasso at Sand Springs.
Yeah, Owasso took care of business, and that was to be expected. Sand Springs head coach Bobby Klink, he makes no secret about wanting to challenge his team, and playing Bixby and Owasso to open your season as a 6A2 squad is certainly a challenge. And so Owasso, they needed to get a win, and they were able to get a win against a good 6A2 team in Sand Springs. The Rams, after the first 2 weeks of the year, they looked like, again, kind of similar to Union. They needed to find some momentum before they entered district play, and they got that with a big win. And you mentioned Broken Arrow. I was there for the first half. Broken Arrow, they played pretty well, and I was really impressed with the play of their junior running back, Octavian Robertson. Their other junior star, Samaj Stanford, was outstanding on both sides of the ball. So it was a good win for Broken Arrow, but there's definitely some things to work on. And for Mustang, it should be mentioned they were without their star quarterback, Jaden O'Neill, but he should be back pretty soon. And they're still going to be a tough out in 6A1.
Yeah, Mustang part of the Power of the West, ranked number 4, and that's their first loss of the season. Taylor Lincoln Christian going to 3A now. They just keep rolling along their 31st consecutive win and get some revenge over the only team that's beaten them in how many years? Shiloh Christian, the last team to beat them back in 2018. They won that game 44-33, quite a shootout.
Yeah, and for Lincoln Christian, they continue to roll. I don't think they're going to lose the rest of the regular season. I think that they've been absolutely dominant in district play for nearly a decade now. I don't think that they're going to get any kind of competition anytime soon. They'll be tested, but I think that they've proven over the last couple of weeks, beating Heritage Hall like they did, going on the road to Arkansas, beating Shiloh Christian. Lincoln Christian is for real. This is a very good football team. They won 31 straight for a reason. They're back-to-back state champs. And like I said last week, I think them and Sulphur are on a crash course for a 3A state title rematch.
2A Metro Christian over 3A Cassia Hall. I was a little surprised. This score 41-14.
Yeah, I mentioned being at Broken Arrow for the first half of that game. I went over to Cassia Hall to catch the second half. It was 10-0 when I got there. Metro Christian was up 10-0 at halftime. But Cassia Hall really shot themselves in the foot in the second half with turnovers. Metro Christian immediately took over, and we talk about the snowball effect, and it certainly snowballed on Cassia Hall as Metro was able to rack up some easy touchdowns in the third quarter and kind of put that one away. Metro Christian is a team that people need to take seriously in Class 2A1. Their quarterback's the real deal. They have some other skill players that are incredibly productive. Washington has owned Class 2A1 for the last several years, but they're going to have some challengers with the Jones Longhorns and the Metro Christian Patriots among the top of the contenders.
What's your schedule this week, Michael? The final week before district play starts.
Yeah, so on Thursday, I'm gonna go out to Perkins to check out Perkins Tryon. They're one of those 3A teams that's chasing Lincoln Christian. And then Friday, really excited to get up to Northern Oklahoma to see Pawhuska, one of the top teams in Class A1. They have a fantastic offense led by quarterback Kane Foreman. They'll be hosting Woodland, the defending Class A2 state champion. They're off to kind of a rocky start when you compare it to what they did last year going undefeated. So some great football, great small school football. A lot of the large schools are taking this week off as a bye week after playing in week 0. They played week 0, 1, and 2. They have this week off to get ready for district play. So some small school football on tap on Prep Redzone Oklahoma this week.
All right, for Michael Knight, we'll see you next week, of course. So you get ready for district play the week after that. And right now, we're going to go meet Mike Melega, the president and general manager of Tulsa Drillers. They're in the Texas League playoffs. Mike tells us all about it after we take this break.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Our story. It lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
Thoroughbred season at Remington Park is underway with great winning action Thursday through Saturday at 6 p.m. Make plans now for Oklahoma Derby Day, Sunday, September 28th. The lone Sunday afternoon of the season begins at 3 p.m. with the richest race of the season, the Grade 3 $400,000 Oklahoma Derby, as the headliner. Visit RemingtonPark.com for all post times, group rates, and dining reservations. The best racing, simulcast racing, and nonstop jackpot casino action is at Remington Park.
Welcome in Mike Melega now, the president general manager of the Tulsa Drillers, headed to the Texas League playoffs. And like I tell you, we didn't make it easy.
No, we didn't. But you know what? We had an incredible second half. Team completely pulled a 180 from the first half when we finished in last place, and they just played really, really good baseball. Tremendous credit goes to the coaching staff, in particular our manager Eric Wedge. They kept a winning mentality with that team even when we were struggling in the beginning, and it really paid off in the second half. We finished 10 games over 500. So a really, really good half and a much deserved playoff berth.
And you ended the final day of the regular season this past Sunday with a one-game magic lead there, said, and we needed some help, and we got it, didn't we?
We did. We got it. You know, it was a matter of we had to win or Wichita had to lose. And Wichita took care of the losing portion earlier in the day, so the Drillers could set up our pitching, and we didn't have to go all out on Sunday night. So it really was a good day for the team, and the guys got to celebrate, which was fun to see.
So what's it mean to Texas? We're back in the Texas League playoffs for the first time since 2022. Got to feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a couple of year absence is a long absence. Since we've been with the Dodgers, it seems like we were getting used to going to the playoffs every single year. So it's great to be back. The format of a 3-game series in the playoffs is it's a tough format, but anybody has a chance to win. And so we're hoping we'll have a chance to advance to the Texas League Championship, and we'll host Game 1 if we do next Sunday.
That's right. Well, we're against the Springfield Cardinals, of course, the big first-half champions. Have been a dominant team all year. Talk about the matchup with the 3-game series, starting in Tulsa Tuesday, then Thursday, Friday in Springfield.
Yeah, Springfield has dominated from start to finish this season. They won both halves. They've been incredible from a matchup standpoint. I think our guys are confident, though. You know, the last time we played them was here at One Oak Field, 6-game series towards the end of July, and we took 4 out of 6. So I think that gave us a little bit of confidence. That was kind of when the Drillers were coming into their own here in the second half, and that showed we can compete with the best in the business. Then Springfield left here, and they went on like a 9-game winning streak. So they're a very, very tough opponent. It's great that we're hosting Game 1. That gives us an opportunity to get a leg up on the series and put some pressure on those guys. So hopefully we'll be able to get past them.
Well, Mike, I tell you, that game this past Saturday night, when everything was on the line, we're trailing in late innings there, and some really magic there with James Tibbs III, your first baseman, and the biggest hit of the season, maybe.
Oh my gosh, what a dramatic win. We needed to have it. We were facing a situation where Wichita was up. If they won that night and we lost, we would have moved into a dead heat, and Wichita had the tiebreak, right? So the players are very, very aware of that situation. We fell behind in that game. I think we were down 2 runs, and then Tibbs comes up and he hit just an absolutely clutch 3-run bomb to give us the lead, and we go on to win the game, maintain our 1-game lead, and then we clinch it the next day on Sunday. So yeah, that's the most important hit of the whole entire season without question. What a great addition, James Tibbs III and Zach Earhart, who both came over at the trade deadline when the Dodgers traded Dustin May to the Boston Red Sox. Those were the 2 players that we got in return, and they were immediately assigned to Tulsa. And they really changed the makeup of our lineup, inserting those guys into the outfield. And now Tibbs is playing first base a bit. So it's a completely different lineup than prior to that trade.
Well, I'm going to wish you the best in the playoffs. We'll have a recap with you next week and also talk some attendance figures, which I know you'll be happy about as well for a big 2025 season of Tulsa Builders Baseball coming to an end here. And again, Mike, look forward to talking to you next week, too, and kind of wrap things up. But good luck in the playoffs. Beat those Cardinals.
All right. Thank you, Chris. We appreciate it, man. And hopefully we'll be talking about a championship next week.
Love it. Let's go right now to Remington Park on a race report to Dale Day coming up right after the break here.
Thoroughbred season at Remington Park is underway with great winning action Thursday through Saturday at 6 p.m. Make plans now for Oklahoma Derby Day, Sunday, September 28th. The lone Sunday afternoon of the season begins at 3 p.m. with the richest race of the season, the Grade 3 $400,000 Oklahoma Derby, as the headliner. Visit RemingtonPark.com for all post times, group rates, and dining reservations. The best racing, simulcast racing, and nonstop jackpot casino action is at Remington Park.
Our story. It lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
The Tulsa Oilers are fresh off another playoff season. Don't let the ice cool down. Get your season tickets now for next year and save big. Season tickets start as low as $19 per month. Get your tickets at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets are available now starting at only $19 per month. TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey.
Top Oklahoma breds were in stakes action on Friday, September 12th at Remington Park, all over the firm turf course. The trio of events started out with a race formerly known as the Remington Park Turf Sprint, now renamed for the track's all-time leading jockey, Cliff Berry. Cliff Berry, Remington Park's all-time leading jockey, amassed more than 2,100 victories in Oklahoma City while collecting 15 titles as the track's leading rider. In his 27-year career at Remington Park, Berry won 99 stakes races. Berry also won the Oklahoma Derby 3 times with Comic Truth, Mr. Pursuit, and with Shotgun Cowboy in his final year of riding, 2015. Berry won more than 4,400 career races in his career, accumulating mount earnings of more than $67 million. The Cliff Berry Turf Sprint had the field flying around one turn, going 5 furlongs. They're off in the Cliff Berry Turf Sprint. Good start inside for Connor's Outlaw, also way sharply, Eakley missing Hollywood, now roaring up to take the lead. That's Mr. Wayside. Mr. Wayside on the front now by a little more of the length, surging forward and taking over with a half mile to go. Legacy Account going out to chase as well. Then Eakley and Dark Afternoon at the rail. That's Connor's Outlaw holding in 5th. To the outside, 6th and wide, the gray, that's Papa Bill, and after a good start, missing Hollywood, a bit rank at the back, 7 from the front. Midway through the lone turn, it is Mr. Wayside flashing the speed up front with a quarter mile to go. Looking for room inside is Connor Zoutlaw. Right there, legacy account. And 4 wide, here's Eakley. Eakley with a strong bid now, going for the front and backing up Mr. Wayside. Dark Afternoon fires now. Eakley on the front, but here comes Dark Afternoon. Race on, inside a furlong to go. Dark Afternoon to the outside. Eakley inside, these two. And Dark Afternoon powers home to win the Cliffberry Turf Sprint. Change the name of the race. It doesn't matter for Dark Afternoon. Dark Afternoon won this race for 2 straight years when it was the Remington Park Turf Sprint. Now it's the Cliffberry Turf Sprint. Same situation. Dark Afternoon, the winner for Blackhawk Stables of Elk City, Oklahoma. Alex Hartman, trainer. Aram Diego, the winning jockey. 3rd straight year victorious in. Now the Cliffberry Turf Sprint is Dark Afternoon. Next up for Dark Afternoon, the Great West Turf Sprint, possibly on Oklahoma Derby Sunday, September 28th. Next up, the Bob Berry Memorial for fillies and mares at 7.5 furlongs. Half mile to go in the Bob Berry. It still Take Me Serious on the front. Pressed all the way by Miss Code West. Only a head back now as they go to the far turn. Do you want to dance? 3 back as they go to the turn in 3rd, a half length better than Talking Katie. And then Nice Neighbor is wide, but trying to advance 5th. Maybe Dulce asked for run now, only about 6 back and starting to go with a quarter mile left in the Bob Berry. Off the turn, top of the stretch, inside Take Me Serious, outside Miss Code West. Race on! Just over a furlong to go. Miss Code West trying to get by, running a much better race tonight. Take Me Serious digging in on the inside. They're 4 clear of any other rival. Maybe Dulce trying to move up 3rd. Miss Code West by ahead. Take Me Serious looking for an answer. Miss Code West. Miss Code West wins the Bob Berry Memorial, named after 2 legends in Oklahoma sports broadcasting, Bob Berry Sr. and his son Bob Berry Jr. Miss Code West did not win her first start of the Remington Park season in a sprint event over the main track. However, in the Bob Berry, she loved the 7.5 furlongs over the turf, and despite not leading early, came on strong down the stretch to put away Take Me Serious to get the score and pay $7.60 for the win. This victory in the Bob Berry for Miss Code West puts her over $500,000 in career earnings now for owners Jeffrey and Julie Puryear of Denton, Texas, Kevin Scholl, the winning trainer, and the regular jockey for Miss Code West, Floyd Wethy. Finally, the Red Earth Handicap, also at 7.5 furlongs. Outside, number 1 Dude, getting set to be passed on either side. Outside by Country Caper to the inside, Tap the Dot. Up front, up by 3, Escaping the Blues with a quarter mile to go, has a clear advantage. Good swimmer getting through at the rail. Sonic Posse asked for more and not responding yet. Tap the Dot could be a player, and Country Caper coming on. Final furlong here, they're all chasing. Escaping the Blues, who's out by 3. Good swimmer trying. So's Tap the Dot and Country Caper. Final yards, Escaping the Blues needs a line. Here it comes. Escaping the Blues gets it done. Escaping the Blues wins the Red Earth Handicap, making it 4 consecutive victories for Escaping the Blues, owned by Michael Grossman of Fredericksburg, Texas. Francisco Bravo trains. Aram Diego up on Escaping the Blues, as he has been throughout this winning streak. Escaping the Blues set the about 7.5 furlong course record here on August 23rd. At the regular 7.5 furlong distance in the Red Earth Handicap, went to the front and held off all challengers down the stretch to win in a tough battle. Escaping the Blues, your Red Earth Handicap winner. Remington Park Racing continues Thursday through Saturday, September 18th through the 20th. First race nightly, 6 p.m. Central. The Thorough Enduro online contest is underway. You can play the free game at remingtonpark.com. Click on the Thorough Enduro Gold button at the top of any page to get started. And Oklahoma Derby Day is almost here, the only Sunday of the season on September 28th. First race is 3 p.m. Top race, of course, the Grade 3 Oklahoma Derby. Many other big stakes events on the program, as well as great promotional events, the Wine Tasting Festival, and the Hat and Tie Style Contest. In Oklahoma City at Remington Park, I'm Dale Day. Now back to Sportscene.
And we'll see you next week, right back here on Oklahoma Sportscene. Got some surprises for you. Going to wrap up with some of the big college football games, including Tulsa at Oklahoma State, the big challenge Friday night. And OU starting Southeast Conference play. Welcome back Jackson Arnold, their former quarterback, as the Auburn Tigers come to town. All that coming up next week on Oklahoma Sportscene. Join us then. Until then, as we always remind you, be a good sport.